Okay, a very good morning to everyone. I'm Jyoti in behalf of HR Department of KTP Group of Companies. Along with me, Mr. Ko Tek Peng, our principal, and also Ms. Riwa, our newcomer. So welcome to our webinar section for today. Do anyone know what is our webinar all about for today?
Yes, I think today we are going to talk about the recruitment process, right, in KTP.
Yes, you're almost right, Ms. Riva. So today our webinar will be all about how do we interview people at KTP, and the purpose of this webinar today is to know the flow of interview section at KTP and also what are the questions normally we ask during our interview section. So Mr. Go, before we begin, Mr. Go can introduce regarding our webinar also.
Good morning to you guys. For those, let me introduce myself. My name is Mr. Ko Tek Peng. I'm the principal of KTP and group of company. We are the proof auditors and tax agent in the house. We have about more than 20 years experience history in the as being auditors and tax agent. So basically today the webinar is normally outline the interview procedures in KTP. So how to make it more for to improve your chances to be interviewed or maybe shortlisted for interview or maybe eventually recruited into our families, KTP families. Okay, thanks. Okay, Jyoti, you may.
Thank you, Mr. Go. So, Ms. Riva, how about you?
Yes, Ms. Jyoti, I'm Riva, and I'm the new joiner in KTP. And then since we are in HR department, right, I think the recruitment process and the flows of interview will be a must for us to grade. And then can I know about more the question types and then the flows of interview in KTP right now?
Yes, for sure, Ms. Riva. So before I begin with our webinar section for today, let me share something regarding our interview nowadays. Interview can be considered as a challenge for the candidates, but I think as an employer, it can be considered as a biggest challenge for us because we need to know the right questions we have to prepare to find the best fit for our company. Mr. Go, I think as the employment market improves and the candidate has more option nowadays out there, our recruitment process is becoming difficult, right?
Yes. I think with the COVID and then with the COVID, you will make it more difficult to get more good candidates or something like that. I do agree with you. Okay.
Yes, Mr. Ko. So let's move on to the first part of our webinar today, the flow of the interview process at KTP. Normally, after we post about our hiring vacancy at the social medias or the job hiring portals, we normally will shortlist the candidate. As for the shortlisting the candidates, we will review the candidate resume as we will give priority to the overall look of the resume. We also concern their profile picture, their working experience, and also the length of employment. As preparing for the interview section, we also normally will call or send a Calendly to the candidate to book for the interview section. And we also do have the online job application forms, and it is categorized to different three peoples, which is for interns, fresh graduates, and also experienced candidates. So let's move on to the main part of our webinar today. What are the questions that we normally ask during our interview section?
Perhaps, Jyoti, before you proceed, because perhaps you can explain what's this app all about? Calendly, you did mention the app's Calendly, right?
Yes, Mr. Go. Calendly is an online app which we can send to the candidates as we can, the candidate is able to book a time, their preferred time, which is their availability time to book an interview section with them, because we give priority to the candidate to choose their availability date and time also.
So meaning this is an online scheduling or appointment calendars, something like that?
Yes.
I see.
Okay.
So basically, can I check with you? Do we need to send a resume, or do we have any form to fill out in the Google form or something like that?
Yes, we do have the job application form in a type of Google form. So before the candidate can enter the interview section, they are able to complete the job application form. And while they are replying in their job application form, they can know regarding our company too, because we got insert some information regarding our company in the job application form.
Can you share some tips how you shortlist a candidate for interviews?
Okay. Normally for audit candidates, what we do is if we also give consent to the fresh graduate. Normally we will see what is their.
Okay, why not we break into two categories. One is fresh graduate, one is experienced candidate. So what is how you shortlisted for candidate for let's say fresh graduate without experience or 6 months intern experience?
Okay, normally for fresh graduate, I will see first their qualification. For normally for example like their degree or ACCA. Then sometimes I will look into their skills also, what type of skills they are specialized in. And also I will look into their qualification, special skills, and they have had any training before or not. That is the most important skills that I will give important.
Miss Riva, would you like to add something? How would you like to share your experience? How you shortlisted candidates? Let's say for fresh graduate.
Okay, for fresh graduate, right, normally we do have the sales introduction videos. Then we will see from them, do they have very good presentation and their tone of voice? Do they look confident in their videos? And then how they end with the videos.
I see. Okay, Jyoti, then come back to how you shortlisted, because once sometimes when you post in JobStreet or in social medias, there's a tons of many applications. So how you shortlisted candidate from, say, for experienced candidate, experience who have working experience, say in audit firm or in other firms, things like that.
Normally for experienced candidate, we will look into their past working experience, what type of job scope they have done before. And normally if we consider the experienced candidate, they will be pro in some of the apps also. I mean like audit apps such as Audit Express. We do give importance to them also. And then for experience also, besides that, we used to ask to the candidates whether they can train our juniors or not. It will be much easier for us if we hire the experienced candidate who is able to train the juniors.
Before you proceed, perhaps perhaps you can give some tips on how to write a good resume so that you can be shortlisted for interview in KTP. Okay, sorry, because there are many candidates to be selected. I think more or less the resume is the same. So how to outshine others candidates in the resume? Please share your knowledge.
Since I'm in marketing department too, first of all, I will look into the overall look of the resume, the design and the layout. Then that is the main attractive point to me. Then I will like go into their qualifications, job scopes, and also the training and also skills. Make sure the information is like enough for us to hire them. That will be considered if I want a perfect resume.
Miss Riva, so how about you think covering letter is very important? You mind share?
Okay, the one that I think was important for the resume or the CV is they must put the accurate information like the phone number. They must check whether they will could contact to them. And also the profile picture, do they look professionally in their job scope or the industry they have to apply. And then some more, I will also check their JD, the job stream, will write it correctly or is it very fixed to the question that applies. And then do they really have or require the skill that we really need?
I see. I think that summarizes what we discussed for the past. So I think resume is very important. So to be shortlisted as a candidate for interview, the most important is your resumes. Okay. So please spend some time, or even you can Google to write up a professional resumes. Okay. So to outnumber, let me share with you my experience with you guys. To outnumber, you must have a professionals, okay, profile pictures, okay. So don't give her your pictures in bikinis, I think, or don't give her pictures in the gym, okay, wearing a singlet or something like that, okay, because we are professional firm, we are audit firm, so please, I think this is a minor issue. You should look at it, okay, and then for fresh graduate, normally we look at what kind of activity, what kind of hobbies, or in school, what is your curriculum, thing like that. Okay. Of course, we'll look at your result. Okay. Okay. For experienced candidate, normally we'll look at your working experience. Okay. Normally, if you are aiming for senior position, we are looking at your leadership skill, perhaps or management skill, perhaps you can talk about something about that. Okay, I think this is my tips to the candidate. Okay, so Jyoti, would you like to proceed the next stage already?
Yes, Mr. Ko. So we normally ask several types of questions to the candidates. The first type will be the open-ended questions. So we do ask open-ended questions to get sense of their personality of the candidate, and also to know whether the candidate can fit into our culture or not. And normally open-ended questions such as what attract you to apply for this job, or how KTP attracts you will be asked during our interview section. Mr. Ko, I got a question with you. If you are an interviewee, what will be your answer for this question?
Normally the normal common question that I receive is I choose KTP because it's closer to my. Can you see? Can you see? So please. Normally, I think why I choose KTP normally. Before that, sorry. Can you stop a bit, Jyoti? I think something is wrong already. Okay. Sorry, there's a. Can you see my videos? Okay. So the first question is, what attract you to interview with KTPs? Okay. Normally sorry, I think something wrong with my PC. Is it okay? Can you see my face?
Okay, Mr. Ko.
Okay. What attract you? So please, other than closer to your home, do a research on our companies. Okay. You can Google KTP. You can search our Facebook. At least you see something about us first before you interview, whether you think this company is right for you or not. Okay. Do a research. Tell Yoti or Miss Riva how you know KTP, thing like that. Then maybe you stand a higher chances. Other than when you go for interview, you don't know this company. I think your chances will be more slimmer. Okay? I hope this answers your question, Jyoti.
Yes, Mr. Go, for surely. Then let's move on to the next type of question. Normally, we do ask closed question to the candidates. The candidate can answer by yes or no to make the section to be more comfortable. I do ask the questions like, do you have any plans to work at overseas, or do you drive to work to the candidates? And Mr. Ko, I still got another question to you. It's my personal question also. Do you have plans to work at Singapore before, or do you have any plans to own a company at Singapore?
No, okay. Singapore, yes, okay. I cannot stop people from working from Singapore because it's very tempting. The currency is times 3, okay. So you ask me whether I have considered setting up an office in Singapore. Yes, during the IM time, because everything I say is times 3, okay. But once at the young age, okay. But now I'm getting older already, so I don't have the So I don't think about that really. Yes, I think this is the main challenge. As I told my people that I cannot stop you from going to Singapore, but because it's too tempting. The currency is country, and then nothing much I can do about that. Only thing that we can do is that hopefully we can train you. You can follow your working you can follow your dreams. You can learn as much as you can, and then hopefully by the time you leave KTP, and then at least you say yourself, I learned something from down here. Okay.
Miss Jyoti, sorry to interrupt. I would like to ask, do any job-related question to be asked during the interview?
Yes, Ms. Riva, we do ask job-related questions to the candidates, such as what is their earliest date to join us, or will you fit into our team, culture, or company? And also we move on to the next type of question, which is the situational questions.
Miss Jyoti, what situation? Sorry, Mr. Ko.
Can I say what kind of job related question you be asking? You don't mind to elaborate more, Jyoti?
Yes, Mr. Go. Normally, we will ask what is their earliest date to join us, or we will ask what do you like or dislike about your previous job. Since Miss Riva also got experience in their previous job, I would like to hear from Miss Riva what is she like or dislike about her previous job.
Okay, yes, Miss Jyoti, I like my previous job is because I can feel the sense of appreciation. And then for the dislike part, I wouldn't reveal is so like in a bad word or something, but I will say that it's less systematic inside the company to avoid any bad mouth to the company or the positions before, and then I will just use the positive sentence to elaborate it.
I think this, Mr. Go, this will be the job-related questions with samples as we can explain before this. I see.
Okay, good. Very happy. Do you ask something about our culture or something like that, or our how can you fit into our cultures?
Yes. We do ask with the candidates normally we want to see whether the candidate got research regarding our company or culture or not. Normally we can learn our company culture from our social media platforms because we used to post regarding our culture in KTP Careers and also KTP Lifestyle.
Why is that? Why there's two? What is lifestyle? What is career? I don't understand. Perhaps you can explain more.
Yes, Mr. Go. We do have Facebook in 3 different categories, which is the main KTP Facebook account and also KTP Lifestyle, KTP Career. KTP Lifestyle normally is to show what are the lifestyle we practice at KTP. For instance, like the exercise, rope jumping, and also KTP Careers is regarding what is the internal training or webinar we conduct at KTP, as we do give free learning and training to our employees down here.
Perhaps I can explain more is that because I envision for KTP Career, I envision we are a learning organization. I think learning is very important for us. I think a lifelong learning. So in KTP Career, you will see that most likely you will see all we attended, we share to our colleagues, thing like that. For lifestyle, I always say that this life beside work. Okay, we try to overcome. We try. Okay, we try to overcome. But for these past 2 years, it's a bit tough because of lockdown, thing like that. We try to overcome work-life balance. So normally in KTP Lifestyle, you will see our activity from group exercise, celebrations, or even social event, all kind of things. Okay. Can we proceed?
Yes, Mr. Go. So I proceed to the next type of question, which is the situational questions.
Miss Jyoti, can I know what situational question will be asked during the interview section?
Ms. Riva, that was a good question. So situational questions will be conducted by providing relevant or real-life scenarios is to reveal how the candidates can think on the spot or how the candidate can solve the problem immediately. So we do ask situational questions such as how do you handle customer complaints and how do you cope with stress while meeting deadlines throughout our interview section.
Let me show it from my previous interview experience. We do ask about the behavior question. And then do any behavior question to be asked during the interview?
Yes, Ms. Riba, for sure. We do practice to ask behavioral questions during our interview section at KTP. Normally, we will ask behavioral questions such as how do you handle the challenges at your work and your life. Mr. Ko, still another question to you. Normally, how Mr. Ko will handle challenges during your work and also in your life?
Of course, to me, life is always challenging, okay? Life is challenging, work is challenging, relationship is challenging. So to me, for me, normally I will engage, exercise a lot, okay? Normally after work, I will exercise in the evening by running or swimming or cycling, thing like that. So it's some kind of de-stress for myself. So
I think to add on regarding our webinar today.
Yeah, I want to check with you roughly how long it takes for us for interviewing KTPs.
Normally, the maximum will take 1 hour and 15 minutes if the candidate can elaborate more on our company.
So roughly is about 1.5, at least 1 hour long, right? So including filling out the form, thing like that, or just purely on the interviews?
Normally, I would like to do the pre-planning. So before I after I call the candidates to schedule the interview section with them, I do send them the job application form together with the message, and we can have the job application form before the interview section.
I see. So I heard because some of the candidates, they need to perform some presentation, right? Is it right? Is it true?
Yes, we do have for the job application form for interns and also fresh graduates, they are entitled to do a short introduction video to introduce themselves in the job application form.
So why is the purpose or what is the objective during presentations?
As a fresh graduate also, I think the video is important to portray our confidence so that we can know what is the candidate wanted to say, how she can sell herself during the interview section. So that it will be the main purpose as a fresh graduate also.
My next question will be, during this lockdown or during this pandemic, most of the interview is conducted through Zoom, or we have to come physically to the office?
Because of this COVID-19 pandemic, we are conducting through Zoom, Mr. Go, as to avoid the physical interaction.
Right. So any final word to the candidates who are coming for interview, Ms. Jyoti?
Yes, Mr. Go. So as an employer, I think we always have to keep in mind that the interview is just a mutual screening process. And as an employer, we always have to make the interview section as much as fun as we can. And for the candidates, I think working at KTP will be actually fun because we actually practice work-life balance and make sure your resume must be quite attractive too, so that we can hire you with as to fit our company culture.
So I think with this, should we is there anything more other than that? Anything more?
Ms. Jyoti, thank you for the webinar today, and I clearly understand about the recruitment process, and the question will be asked during the interview, such as open-ended question, closed question, job-related question, situational question, behavioral questions, and also the brain-tested question. Then I believe that KTP has implemented systematic interview section and with the listed interview question prepared. So thank you, Ms. Jyoti, for today's for the webinar.
No worries, Ms. Riwa. So thank you, Mr. Goh, for your time.
Thank you for your time to clarify everything, and then I think it's much more clearer for the candidate who are coming for interview. Thanks for your time.
Thank
Good
you.
job.
Thank you, Ms. Riwa.
Bye bye.